With critical focus on the Nigerian economy, we see the bigger picture. Nigeria-India trade. Business Express on Smooth 98.1.
Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life.
We're Smooth 98.1 FM. It's gone 29 minutes already past the hour, 6 o'clock. And let's see how it goes this morning. Let's get into business as Daisy Erharhire is getting ready to set the agenda for Tuesday business. Good morning to you, Daisy. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing great. And how are you?
I'm well, thank you. So let's get into this agenda. For me, this announcement, when it came up relating to President Bola Tinubu saying the student loans, the much anticipated student loans would kick off in January 2024 because it was earlier slated for October, I guess, or somewhere before the end of this year. But the announcement coming from the presidency now is that it will be some January next year. Let's get, what was your first reaction when you heard that news coming from the villa?
Okay, so first of all, it's obviously long overdue. And as always, is the government has funds, but we're hoping that this time around it's not just going to be another promise from the government and that will not be fulfilled, because to a large extent, if this actually pulls through, it will have a very great impact for students and in the long run. So I hope that by January 2024, as stated, it will kick off officially, and hopefully this time around the government keeps to the promise as we were expecting. So
from my end, when the news first, when it was announced, and now again for January, I was thinking probably maybe I went to school too early, and I see a point where probably I'll be missing out on. I mean, I wish I could use it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You shouldn't feel that way. You should be thankful for the fact that you're done with school and you're at this point where you are. So let's give room for other people that are coming from behind to benefit from this. This is not for you, please.
Okay. So which leads me to the talk about impacts now. So what, in your opinion, would be the impact of this introduction of interest-free student loans to access higher education in Nigeria? Speak to us about that.
Okay, so obviously, first of all, a lot of people would gladly want to enroll into university, into the tertiary institution colleges once this officially kicks off. So they will no longer be concerned of, I've gotten admission, but I'm still trying to gather funds so that I can go into school and make necessary payments. So with this initiative, with this fund coming in, it's going to reach all of that issues for them, right? And of course, by the time you get into school, you don't have to worry about juggling between work activities and a side hustle job at school, because that's if you're not from the rich homes where you have everything at your table, you always have to find yourself in situations where you have to look for side gigs in school so you can meet up the demands with expenses in school and all of that. And also there is the part where you would have reduced there'll be a reduction in dropouts in school. I remember my time, there was this particular time where the VP of at time, I will not mention his name, but if you went to Uniport, you would never forget that experience, because it came as a short notice when the VP at that time said that every student must ensure they pay their fees before a certain timeline. And a lot of people were affected, especially final year students. So imagine that you're already at your final year and your VP is telling you that you have to pay your school fees before a certain timeline, which was not favorable for you at that point. So during that period, a lot of people had to drop out of school. It was a very bad experience for us. So with this loan in picture, all of that will be scrapped out. So it will be reduced rather. So you will have less dropouts from school, and of course, more graduates from school. So I think it's a good one, and you have a good impact in education generally.
So we need to connect quickly with with a listener, and listener in quotes are the clients right now because we're talking business. So I need to bring them in here to let them know. We would like to get their thoughts on this issue this morning relating to the announcement by President Bola Tinubu that the students' loans will commence in January 2024. So let's have your thoughts, what you think about this on the as a WhatsApp message to 0809 4440981. That will be on 0809 4440981. If you just joining for the first time, it's Business Express on Smooth 98.1 FM. This leads me to the other issue that's still begging now for more. That relates to the fact people will say that the devil is in the detail. And this announcement in itself comes across again as maybe falling short in terms of detail. So according to what was published, specific procedures and guidelines for accessing these loans have not been finalized. So what aspects of these guidelines should be a priority for government to address?
Okay, first of all, I don't know why I don't know why the government keeps publishing news without like most times giving us like a guideline or criteria to like basically give us like information of necessary steps to be taken. But in my own opinion, I would suggest that for starters, government should like work with universities and banks. So part of the things that they can do is for them to ensure that the funds are being disbursed to the right sort of people and disbursed to every universities. It means that they have to be in collaboration with universities and banks within school. So I know that I don't know if that system has changed now, but back then in school, for every department you were in, there's a particular bank that you have to like work with to pay your fees. So you cannot pay your fees in any other bank. So I think if the government can work with the banks and universities, they can have like a proper structure how they can easily disburse this funds through maybe the student portals, or maybe come up with a student loan account that where these funds will be specifically disbursed into. So if you meet the criteria or they find you eligible to access the funds, the funds will be disbursed through the in quote student loan account. That if they wish to like have a special account for it, so they can easily track funds that have been disbursed, and of course there'll be transparency in the system. So of course that will mean that like you have to employ like new hands, because that's like a whole new tax on its own, and probably a whole new department in school environment. So, but yeah, I think that's like one way they can go around it, so that there's transparency and every eligible student, be a part of it. So, and nobody's left out at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think that's one way to go around it.
Well, they say promises are like eggs, and sometimes you don't handle it properly, you break them, and then you can't repay it any longer. So this leads me to the president mentioning the commitment to act on promises, and what measures should be taken to ensure the transparency and accountability in the disbursement of these loans. Especially, how do we pick people who should be qualified to receive this loan?
So picking people to be qualified to receive this loan is a very tricky one. Nothing really comes to mind, but I would suggest that maybe for starters, every student portal, which I believe that every school has a student portal for their student, should have like a feature on the website or whatever platform they use that shows you how you can apply for the loan. So maybe part of the thing that will most likely be requested for is a bank statement to see how your income flow has been in the last maybe 2 or 3 years. Then if you're already an existing student in school, you might probably want to look at your CTPA, see how your academic has been so far. Yes, so and of course, there will be linkage to your NIN, BVN data as well for remittance of the loan in future, because you're not going to be remitting. Of course, I also hope that there will be a feature where you can actually remit, you can pay back your loan at your own pace. You don't have to wait, because according to the news published, you get to start repaying after like 2 years of your NYC program, which is a long time. But so I feel like it should be like a feature where you can actually repay at your own pace. So I just feel this is like few ways they can actually like pick their students. Look at your income in the last 2 or 3 years, look at your academic progress in school, and Pretty much few of those points and any other thing that comes to mind along the way. But yeah, I think those two for starters could work.
You see, Daisy for the finances, you see what you see. Probably Daisy for finance ministers. Here you're just touching on all of these things. Why are they leaving you out of these details? You can help them, fine-tune all of this, but let's get you back into this. A debt in itself is a burden. And if we cast our mind to other societies where they've been able to run this very smoothly, even students are begging for this debt to be written off because it seems to want to slow them down. After graduating, you're still in debt. So in itself, why do you think the challenges we see in the foreseeable future for students who think they want to participate in this?
So yeah, it's true that there's a possibility that after you finish your NYSC program, you most likely want to run away. So I think that for starters, whatever, now let me go a little bit technical. So if you're going to add the feature to your portal, there should be a way that, of course, you get certain information, how much you're going to be, how much loan you want, look at the repayment plan, when you want to start repaying, how much you want to start repaying. And like I said before, it should be somewhat linked to your NIN or BVN data. So for future purpose, say for instance you want to apply for a loan, we already have like a system where if you want to loan money, they get to check like your credit scores. So I don't know how they're going to do this, but I think they can link it in a way that when you want to maybe apply for a loan, you can always check like your credit score to see if you have any existing loan that you're yet to clear out. And if you want to say, for instance, for someone who wants to leave the country at one point, maybe after you're done and you want to leave the country, when you're applying for your visa, we should be able to have access to this data showing if you have any pending loan within the system before, processing your visa. What other means comes to mind? I think that's like pretty much it. But if you are actually if you actually value what the government, if the government pulls this through, I want to believe that anyone who applies for this loan should be appreciative enough to know that this is like an opportunity that you don't get like every day. So even before you finish school, you should start making plans to ensure that you can remit the funds. And of course, there's a concern about job opportunities when you leave school after you finish the NYSC program here. So what if at the end of the day, this turns out to be great? You have like thousands of graduates with good grades coming out of school. Is there a possibility that there'll be job opportunities for them? So at least they can use that to like work their way through paying paying back the loan gradually. So it could be something linked to the government, a government job. So at least you could still have them within your system and you can track their income and based on the agreement, deduct the funds at certain periods or timeline. So I don't know. I think that's like few ways that we can go around it.
If I glean anything from what you say, it will seem like, look, if you collect government loan to study, you would have to work for the government. The government must provide you job so you can pay off. Yes.
So I think it's a good one because at least government jobs are, they pay well too. So if they can provide those jobs for them, then it's one way to cope the situation around getting your funds back.
But that's one way to look at it. But in another aspect, what in a country where there are no jobs, so it's going to take some persons graduated as far back as 2007, some persons 2005, they are yet to find a job. So imagine that. But also factor this, do you think that this loan can cover private universities, knowing that federal universities, state universities, the cost of education in these institutions, they vary?
I really cannot say if the loan will cover for private, because like you said, private universities, the expenses, the prices attached to private universities are on the high side. So I feel for starters, we should just look at federal and state universities for now. Then maybe as things unfold, maybe there'll be a better way to bring in the private universities into the picture. But for starters, let's work with federal and state universities.
Oh, our time is done. Your tray is clear already for business this morning, so we appreciate it, Daisy. But before we let you go, we'll pick up messages waiting for you this morning. And this one is fine. Oluboroko sent in this one saying, one thing is for sure, this president is a stickler to whatever it says. And I like the fact that it's an interest-free loan. I just
Yeah,
hope this
true. I forgot that.
I just hope this noble plan is not abused along the way. Fine, Oluboroko sent us that one. And what would I find here? A feast sent us this one. As for me, that's him. It says the value and repayment plan is paramount to him. How will the student pay back when jobs are not guaranteed after graduation? What will be used as collateral? That's a fees from Awoyaya. Ahmed sent us this one from Ogudu. It says this student loan is like giving the little to take more from students considering the recent significant and crazy increase in school fees across the country. If fuel subsidy is removed, other sectors like education is supposed to enjoy the benefits, but the other is the case. Next, I would find Tayo saying, Omashaye, there is still time. 2024 is just by the corner. It's never too late to go back to school to apply. Tayo, Tayo will let that. Come on, Tayo. You do that. Some tacos are not on the Tuesday. Come on. But then let's get on with more of the messages. And then it goes on, is happy about the UK court dismissing P&ID claim against Nigeria. Okay, you wouldn't let that free tackle go away. But then let's get on to Yinka, who sent us a message saying, they should add guarantor before giving loan. People might jackpot after study. Okay, I got one here. And this one from Yinka Bolu, at least we can have right-thinking graduates in civil service. That's boring from what you said. And then I have Babatunde Alao. I don't subscribe to student loan at all. The students are hungry and you want to give them loan. There are no jobs out there for the ones that have graduated. So how long will government get the loan recovered in the midst of economic down? I laugh in Spanish. It's all paperwork and political strategies to buy the conscience of the people. Let the government fix the economy. And I've got 2 more to go. And then I've got Edgar saying it's just a loan. It's not up to 200 million. It's payable. That's what he says. Then Gilbert, our final message says, Gilbert from Festac, on the student loan, let us cast our minds back to the 1970s and the 1980s when student bursary was effective in Nigeria. From 1990, the scheme was stopped. Why did we have this challenge? So that's a wrap, Daisy. We're done for business. Thank you so much for your time. I'll talk to you tomorrow again at 6:30.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
All right. And you too. Bye.
And that's a wrap on Business Express this morning. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.
Focus on the Nigerian economy. We see